Scout Pack 1452 from Finleyville. So they're all, a couple of those groups are helping us out with our opening ceremonies. Folks, we are glad you can be with us for the Tom Clark Auto Family Firecracker 150 on Levin Furniture Night here at MOTORDROME Speedway. Before we get started, we've asked that you please rise. Gentlemen, if you could, remove your caps. Promoter Red Miley will lead us in the invocation, to be followed by the singing of our national anthem by the Priano family, Tom, Jerry, Andy, Al, Tim, and Danny. Red?
Thank you, Dal. Let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for another free day in America. And as at MOTORDROME Speedway we celebrate our nation's birthday this evening, we just want to say thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon us. We want to thank you for the brave Americans that have given their lives that we can be here free. From Bunker Hill to Gettysburg to Guadalcanal, in Iwo Jima, in Vietnam, and now Iraq and Afghanistan. We thank you for the brave young Americans who have given their all that we could be free. We ask you to watch over us this evening as we compete in our favorite sport here at MOTORDROME Speedway. Watch over the competitors. Help us as the management and officials to make good decisions that are fair and wise. Be with our fans and spectators and competitors as they travel home, that they may again return to MOTORDROME Speedway to compete here. In your name we pray. Amen.
Quietly. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Firecracker 150, your fast qualifier. And current points leader Rick Miller will start on the pole. In car number 25, flanked by the 60 of Tommy Beck from Delmont, Miller from Dunbar. The 98 is Neil Brown from Acme. 96 is Mark Poole from 84. The 50 of Doug Bakioki from Cannonsburg. 33 is John Komarinsky from Greensburg. 51, John Messenger from Clarksburg, West Virginia. 43, Mike Adams from Portview. And the 61 of Larry Bahana from Monongahela. And the green is out. It's Rick Miller into the lead with Tommy Beck on his tail, exiting turn number 4. Miller leads, Beck second, Brown third, Poole fourth. Bakioki fifth, and Komarinsky trying to take that fifth spot in car 33. Miller remains at the point, Beck on his heels. fourth. Bakioki still fifth. Komarinsky right now in the final transfer spot. The sixth spot in car 33. Actually, all the cars will transfer. It's just that the top 6 finishers in each of our heats will redraw for starting spots 1 through 12. And I believe Rick Miller, since he won the last feature run, will automatically start 12th for tonight's Firecracker 150. Halfway, 5 down and 5 to go. Tommy Beck a little better off the turn on the inside. He moves by Miller for the lead. Well, Miller's got a problem or what, but Beck went by him like big time. Hurry. Now Neil Brown is closing in on Rick Miller. Flooring and carpeting 60 of Tommy Beck now pulling away. It's Miller second, Brown third, Poole fourth, Bakioki fifth, and Komarinsky still sixth. 1 to go. Checkered flag waving for the Larry Lynn Flooring and Carpeting. Stands transmission 60 of Tommy Beck. Rick Miller second, Neil Brown third, Mark Poole fourth, Doug Bakioki fifth, and John Komarinsky the 33 rounds out your top 6 finishers. One other note. Smith and Fire Department groups got a fresh round of tickets ready to sell for the 50-50 drawing tonight. Those of you here on the front straightaway, they're coming down the sidewalk now. So if you haven't got yours, I'm sure the jackpot's going to be pretty hefty tonight. Nice crowd on hand. If you haven't got your ticket yet, do so now. Up next will be your Subway Street Stock feature. Green is out. Gary Wiltrout quickly into the lead. Kessler is second. Cantone in the 31 and Mitchell in the 22 battle for third. Mitchell moves into the third spot. They head down the front straightaway. Your leader is Gary Wiltrout. Chet Kessler is second. Kessler closing right in on the back end of Wiltrout. McGonigal is fifth in the 29. Sean Pill in the 5, running sixth. Again, it's Kessler pressuring Wiltrout. To go. The Megan Ford Stone & Company 95 now feels the heat of the Kessler Lumber Centaur Incorporated 1 to his inside. Chucky Kessler will make the pass for the lead. Richard Mitchell running third. Mark Cantone fourth. Jim McGonigal fifth. Pitting is the 80 of Nick Durantz. Two more laps remaining. Now it's Wiltrout turning up the heat on Kessler. One more time around. And for the final time, the checkered flag is waving for Chuck Kessler. Wiltrout will get second, Mitchell third, Catone fourth, McGonigal fifth, and Sean Pillis sixth in car number 5. We're going to move into Mount Pleasant, flanked by the 22 of Robin Rimmel. From White, Robin also is known to be fast, and look who starts third. Another three-time winner, Todd Knight from Monroeville in the 70. Starting fourth, the 13 of Chris Fergona from Pitcairn. The 74, Jason Holder from Stoystown. The 7 of Garrett Hoos from Perryopolis. The 4 of Vince Cater from New Salem. The 44 is your Subway Street Stock Challenge contestant, Sean Rick from Pittsburgh. 34, Rich Nicola out of Pittsburgh. 45 is Don Blank Jr. from Pittsburgh. 35, Bill Ashton from Uniontown. The 15 of Jonathan Howman from Bell Vernon. 10, Mike Manning from Burgettstown. The 71 of Tom Knight Sr. from Monroeville. The 98 is Jamie Shipley from Portview, and Bill Henry from Vandergrift is in the 64. And our Subway Street Stock feature is underway. I think the guys that started in the first 3 spots outside of Rich Nicole in the 34 have probably been the fastest cars here all season. They start together out in front with Nicola back in that 6th row, so he's got his work cut out as he tries to cut up through the field. Frank Turek in the 5 is your leader. 22, Robin Rimmel. 70, Todd Knight. A couple of guys together off the second turn. Everyone straightens them out, and they're heading down the back chute into turn number 3. A real scramble back in the second pack. Is your leader. Todd Knight in the 70 and Robin Rimmel in the 22. Wheel to wheel for second. Chris Fergona in the 13 is fourth. Jason Holder in the 74 fifth. Rich Nicola trying to move into 6th after starting, I believe, 11th tonight in the 34. 3 wide down the front straightaway. Cater, Nicola, and Holder. And they're still side by side for second. Todd Knight and Robin Rimmel. Ford versus Chevy. Knight running a Chevy in the 70, Rimmel a Ford in the 22. Turek in the 5, out in front, the Westside Lubin Tire. Sechrist Used Parts, Turek's Plumbing Heating, number 5. Rich Nicola now into 5th, into 34. Continues for second. While they continue to race side by side for second, it's allowing Frank Turek to drive off. He's the early leader here in the 5 car. Started on the pole and has used it to his advantage thus far. A little higher than normal that time in the 22, and Todd Knight now a full car length into second in the number 70. Rimmel trying to get back around him on the outside in turn 2. Meantime, Chris Fergona in the 13 is trying to hold off the 34 Rich Nicola for 4th. Ashton gets into the 10 of Mike Manning. They separate in the middle of 3 and 4, and they races on. All right, and Rich Nicola has come from 11th to the 4th in car 34. We still have a dozen laps to go. He's got a lot of room to make up here. Still way behind the 2nd and 3rd place cars of Todd Knight and Robin Rimmel, and even further, of course, behind the race leader Frank Turek. Whoa, Don Blank in the 45, gonna spin it around right on the front straightaway. Jonathan Howen in the 15 just got a piece of the back end there with his left front. William Shantz, please call your wife. William Shantz, please call your wife. Green flag waving with 11 laps to go. Frank Turek, your leader. Todd Knight now restarts on his heels. Turek can build up a big lead. With the lead, Knight second, Rimmel third, Nicola fourth, and spinning is the 74 of Jason Holder up in turn 2. Oh! I guess the brakes don't work in the 98 car. The 98, Jamie Shipley, who formerly ran here in the Motordrome Chargers, is free to one of our NASCAR officials, Eric Kern, and his wife, Deanna. Down and 10 laps to go. Fast Frank Turek has been out in front from the get-go. He brings the field back up to speed. He and Todd Knight each have 3 wins on the season. Robin Rimmel in the 22 has 1 win, and the 34 of Rich Nicola has 2. Nicola has won 2 in a row. Caution's helping Rich. Charged up into the top 5 early, but was way behind the front 3. Turek pushing, or not Turek, but excuse me, but Robin Rimmel pushing a little high off that second turn, and Rich Nicola trying to close the gap some more. Rimmel and Nicola. 5th is the 13 of Chris Fergona. Next week, the Subway Street Stocks will be running 30 laps. Extra laps for the Subway Street Stocks next week. for 7th between the 44 Sean Rick, our Subway Street Stock Challenge contestant, and the 35 of Bill Ashton. Sideways there at turn 4. It's not over yet. 1 lap to go. Another slip like that, and Todd Knight may have something for him. Todd's right on the back bumper of the 5 car. So these drivers have won 3. Knight trying to put a little more pressure on Torek here in turn 4. Here they come to the checkered flag. It's going to be Frank Torek winning it. Todd Knight 2nd. Robin Rimmel 3rd, Rich Nicola 4th, and 5th will go to the 13 of Chris Vergona.
Big deal.
Oh, nice hand, folks, for Frank Torek. Frank, congratulations. That's just number 4, right? You and Todd have a heck of a battle going, and he sure made you work for it there at the end.
Oh, we got a good battle going the whole way up on them cars right now.
It looked like it started to go away from you toward the end of the race, really in turn 4.
Last couple laps, it was getting a little bad coming off of 4. Was just holding on.
First half of the race, it was all you. You were gone. They were racing side by side behind you, and then the caution started waving, and you probably knew things were going to get interesting.
Oh, once the caution, because I knew it was going to get interesting and fun.
People you want to thank?
I'd like to thank my crew, my sponsors, Westside Lube and Tire, and Seacrest. What else we got? Frank Torek Heating and Plumbing. We got to thank him.
You better thank Frank.
And MOTORDROME Speedway, and just the fans and the sponsors of the races here.
Yeah, Tom Clark and Levin, you picked a good night to win. You're going to get all kinds of good stuff.
Oh, that sounds good.
Thanks, Frank. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Frank Torek, ladies and gentlemen, your Subway Street Stock winner. The next week, the Subway Street Stocks will run 30 laps. '95 is Jimmy Stokes from West Newton. The 1 of Tracy Keller from Mount Pleasant. 9, Rick Broadwater from Trafford. 17, Dave McManus from Elizabeth. 24, Chantel Germack from North Huntington. The 50 of Jeff Giles from Vanderbilt. 3, John Castor from Smithton. The 8 of D.W. Lynn from Webster. And 5-time winner already this year, Mike Lemley, starting last in the 4 car from Dawson. Ford Mustang heads pits, and the green is out for your Charger feature. Bob Shipp charging into that first turn. He's got himself a nice lead here right out of the gate in the 04 car. Tracy Keller in the 1, Motors into 2nd. Abbott is 3rd. Dave McManus in the 17 is 4th, and Jimmy Stokes in the 95 5th. McManus in the 17 on the outside of Abbott now. The battle for 3rd into turn 3. Jeff Giles in the 50, almost spinning out back near the end of the field. D.W. Lynn in the 8 slaps the wall with the back end and the front end and the back end and stops. And now he's going again. Green is out. DW bruised and battered, limp into the pits. He needs a front end alignment and more. Chantel Germack now. Motors up into the 4th spot in the 24. Whoa, Cliff Abbott says, I better get out of here. Jimmy Stokes in the 95 is 5th, then Jeff Giles in the 50, Broadwater in the 9, Lemley in the 4 car still in the back of the field, not where Mike's used to racing. Now he'll pass the Abbott 51. Of Giles spinning around, collects the 9 of Broadwater. They continue on. Broadwater and the 51 of Abbott, and Giles is left parked over there. And the 5th Water into the pits in the 9 car. Giles in the 50 went to the pits. Green is out. Jimmy Stokes getting a little bit of an early start in the 95. It's Bob Shipp in front. Tracy Keller 2nd. McManus 3rd. Chantel Germack 4th. Still Shipp ahead of Keller, McManus, Germack, and Lemley now has joined the mix. He sort of sat back there and quietly bided his time the first 4 or 5 laps. The heavy attrition there after that wreck over in turn 1 and 2. Mike finds himself now in 5th. Bob Shipp had several wins. So Jimmy Stokes in the 95. Straightaways seem to be the problem tonight. Had a spin on the front, and now we've got one on the back. And the caution is out as Stokes is dead in the water back there. Green is back out. Bob Shipp sailing along here, the 04. Dave McManus trying to pass Tracy Keller for 2nd. The 17 of McManus, the 1 of Keller. Chantel Germack in the 24, close 4th. And Mike Lemley in the 4 is 5th. Germack now getting by Keller as well, so Tracy drops back to 4th, trying to hold off the 4 of Lemley there. We're past halfway. Lemley now passing the 1 of Tracy Keller, moving to 4th. Trying to keep some feature winners behind him. McManus in the 17, Germack in the 24, and Lemley in the 4 have all been feature winners this year. D.W. Lynn got that front end alignment in the 8 car, and he's coming back on the track. To go, 2 to go. Mike Lemley on the outside here trying to get around the 24 car, Chantel Germack. D.W. Lynn in the 8 just put on the racetrack, and he finds himself right in front of the lead pack of cars. So not where he wanted to be. He's now 11 laps down. McManus starting to put a lot of heat on the 04 Bob Ship. Coming to the checkered flag, looking for his first win of the season. Bob Ship will get it done out of Jefferson Hills. McManus, Lemley, Germack, and Keller follow him across the finish. Bob Ship back in victory lane for the first time this year. How about a nice hand, the driver of the 04.
Okay, fans, we're down here with Bob Ship. And Bob, I have to admit, I thought I'd see you in victory lane a little sooner than now for the first time this year.
Yeah, we thought so too. I mean, we had such a great run last year. The car was, I mean, I couldn't complain. The car handled so well, it ran well. We didn't change anything over the winter, and we brought it out this year for practice. It was good. The first race, it started pushing and pushing. We've been fighting a push all year. I couldn't get the car to loosen up. Finally, I got it to loosen up, and now it's too loose. So, I mean, we got a lot more room.
I was just going to say, it looks like something happened. You started out at the beginning of the race, I thought, oh, well, if nothing happens, this one's going to be a yawner. But, boy, you were really fighting hard there at the end, 4 cars behind you, 3 cars behind you, actually.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the tires building up or if it was just, you know, the tires getting hot, but the car just slowly faded away towards the end of the race. I really had to hang on to it.
Well, at least you did. Let's talk about the sponsors and the guys that help you out.
I'd like to thank the new West Liberty Chrysler, Jefferson Hills EMS, Jimmy Leet Heating and Cooling, and Shadlor Tackle. We've done a lot of work on this car this year. We've had nothing but problems. I mean, we're in our 3rd transmission, our 2nd rear end. I really need to thank my dad for helping me work in the car. I need to thank Frank Pickering and Curtis Stewart Jr. for helping me with the car.
Thank you,
I'd like to thank my mom, Sarah, my fiance, Sarah. I'd like to thank all the fans for coming out tonight.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, first one of the year for Bob Ship.
Let's give away some door prizes. These numbers are inside the back cover of your souvenir programs. If your number is called, take your program down to the souvenir. Stop in and tell me a solid name or heard about them at the races. See if they can't make you a great deal. Dustin Blank will start on the pole in this feature event in the 4 out of Butler. Outside is Chris Kossel and the new 32 from Connellsville. 36 is points leader Greg Kelly from Connellsville. 60, Adam Kostelnik from North Braddock. 02 is Dan Lewis from Monongahela. 3, Robbie Young. Robbie Hales from Rielton. The 69 of Dave Merrill from Wall. The 8 of Marion Reno from Pitcairn. 16, Eugene Saferno. 55 is Curtis Stewart Jr. 0, Dave Burnell. 19, Joe Furjanic. Jim Bryce in the 30. Dave Mann in the 51. Bill Wintroop in the 90. Paul Milowicki in the 14. And the 04 is newcomer Ed Neidhart Jr. Big field of pro trucks, and we're racing. The green is out. This class is really picked up. Last year we struggled to get, I don't think we had more than 10 trucks here on any given night. Falcone's Chrysler Jeep Pro Truck field picking up, and so is the competition. Chris Kossel, the rookie, the truck rookie, moving right out of the Charger class, your leader in the Brooks Automotive Group, number 32. Adam Kostelnik in the 60 runs second. Here comes Greg Kelly in the 36. Well, newcomer Ed Neidhart Jr. learned one quick lesson tonight. Always check to make sure the hood pins are in before you go on the racetrack. The hood is up, the windshield is blocked. Not a good combination. The 04 will turn left into the pits. His teammate Dustin Blank now 4th. Robbie Young in the 3. The Irwin RV3 is 5th. Still Chris Kossel out in front. It's one of the late model chassis that have been converted into a truck. There are more and more of them out there. 32 Kossel, 36 Kelly is a converted late model. So is the 19 of Furjanic and the 30 of Jim Bryce. Greg Kelly trying to pressure the 60. Another truck rookie, Adam Kostelnik, in the 60, running second, moving out of the street stock ranks. Kossel in the 32 out of the Chargers into the Pro Trucks. 15 laps to go. 5 are down, 15 to go. Paul Middlewicki in the 14 being black flagged. Greg Kelly to the inside of Adam Kostelnik now. The battle for second down the backstretch. Caution is out as the 30 of Jim Bryce and the 19 of Joe Furjanic. 19 for Janik. Looking at the 32, the 36. They're the low-slung chassis compared to the other trucks. Green is out. Kossel doesn't go. Kostelnik passes him on the inside. That may be a no-no. We'll see what happens. Kossel didn't go. The green is out. It was either go or get run over, I guess. Adam Kostelnik was heads up, and he takes the Froggy FM Stands Transmission 60 into the lead. Dustin Blank off the pace. Caution out for the Ford truck. He's putting a lot of liquid down on the racetrack. He starts. Robbie Young brings the 3 truck out of the pits. He'll stay on the lead lap. He's going to have to run his butt off to stay there as the leaders are not far behind him. Kostelnik with a strong restart in the Froggy FM Stands Transmission 60. Chris Kossel second, Greg Kelly third, Dan Lewis in the 02 fourth, and it's the 69 of Dave Merrill and the 8 of Marion Reno Jr. Now to the low side of Dan Lewis, trying to break into the top 5 in the 69. He's sideways coming off of 4 though. Joe Furjanic back out of the pits in the 19, minus some rear sheet metal. Paul Middlewicki back in the pits in the number 14. 10 to go. Chris Kossel was caught right back up to the 60 of Adam Kostelnik. Kostelnik shutting the door down the back straightaway, trying to protect that inside. Here comes Greg Kelly in the 36 on the outside of Kossel. Merrow's up to 4th now, and now Marion Reno in the 8. Last week's winner, or 2 weeks ago, the last time we raced the winner, trying to break into the top 5. Side by side for second. Those are both converted late models. Greg Kelly, the points leader. Kossel, the 32, come together and spin. Caution is out. Dave Manns was right there on the inside, about to get lapped by those 2 trucks. Times this year, the 8 of Marion Reno has won twice. And watch the 2 in the back there, near the back. 36, Greg Kelly, and 32, Chris Kossel, as they try to charge their way back up through the field. Merrow, Reno, and Kostelnik. It's a contact sport as they exit turn 2 down the back straightaway. Adam trying to protect the racetrack, use it all up here. He may not have the fastest truck right now. He's trying to make it as wide as he can. They're side by side behind him. 8 laps to go. It's still Kostelnik. Now Reno. Oh, Kostelnik coming to the low side, trying to shut that door. She's protecting it all. He's got his hands full. Adams up on the wheel. Down the front straightaway, he's still your leader. 7 laps for the finish. Reno behind him. Merrow to the outside of Reno. Dan Lewis sits in 4th. Kostelnik again protecting the low side. Merrow now moves ahead of Reno for 2nd into 3. Let's see what they look like coming off of 4 down the front stretch. Dan Lewis Lewis and Eugene Ciferno trying to join the mix. Greg Kelly's all the way back up to 6th, and here comes Chris Kossel to 32. Oh, contact again in 3 and 4. On the outside, Merrill with the momentum trying to take the lead from Kostelnik. 5 laps to go. And there's the 51 truck of Dave Manns right in the middle of it all again down the back straightaway. He pulls way down to the inside as they get by. It's still Merrill by nose, but here comes Kostelnik off the inside of 4. Adam has the lead. 4 laps to go. Merrill is second. Reno, and then it's Dan Lewis and Eugene Ciferno. Kostelnik sideways there in turn 2, and Merrill will take the lead down the backstretch in the 69. Using that outside groove. He pushes a little high coming up off of 4. It's Kostelnik down on the low side trying to get back under him into turn 1. In turn 2, Merrill's slipping and sliding. He's your leader. Reno goes to the outside in the 8 truck. 2 laps to go. Here comes Kostelnik trying to pull back alongside of Merrill in turn 4. Dan Lewis 4th, Eugene Ciferno 5th, and Greg Kelly and Chris Kossel. Not only the truck's the biggest field, but they might be the most competitive tonight. Dave Merrill trying to get his 7th win. He's a lap away. He pushes high off of 4. That seems to be his problem spot. Adam Kostelnik not letting him get away, staying right with him. Reno and he come together again in 1 and 2, and now Reno to second. Look out, contact on the back straightaway. Oh, it was just a matter of time. Whoa, they just made it through the 55 of Stewart and the 3 of Young. My goodness. Dave Manns spin is again in the 51. You can see the carnage on the. Dave Manns returns in the 51. I hate to see something like that happen, but the way they were going, I thought it was going to happen sooner. Curtis Stewart Jr., first year in the trucks, running 5th in the 55. Veteran Robbie Young is 4th in the 3, and we're back racing. The green is out. 2 laps to go. Into turn 4, 1 lap remaining. Dave Merrill, the car's by Dave. 69, not going to win it by much. Greg Kelly right at his tail. Merrill will hold on for the win. Kelly 2nd, Chris Kossel 3rd, Robbie Young 4th, and Curtis Stewart Jr. 5th. Still have some more door prizes to give away too. We have fireworks at the end of the night. We had plenty in that feature. How about a nice hand, folks, for Dave Merrill?
If there's a racer right now at this racetrack that might have bought a lottery ticket in Cranberry, it'd have to be Dave Merrill. Not to take anything away from the truck and your crew and everything tonight, but it just seems like the dominoes are the stars have lined up for you this year, Dave.
You know, I can't believe it. It was so bad the first 5-6 laps of the feature, I thought, boy, we ain't got a chance. And like you said, things falling our way. I got a bar up in the back tire right now. It happened before the caution. I don't know. I just ran it out. You know, I can't do it without the fans coming to support us every week, and I can't do it without my crew. Without these guys, man, it'd be impossible.
You know, Dave, you talk about the crew, and like you said, it's rubbing on the bar. That might explain why you had a lot of trouble when you're on the outside. I thought, boy, that thing's loose. I'm sure that had something to do with it.
Yeah, it was loose and had a little bit something to do with the three of us just bumping and banging, you know what I mean? But it's racing, and you know what? The 60, Adam was up there at Reno. I don't know what happened in that caution, but man, it was good racing.
Yeah, it's got to feel good. 17, 18 trucks tonight. The field's growing. You're winning. Starting way back or having to work your way up there. It's a well-earned victory.
Yeah, it is a well-earned victory. And like I said, we can't do it without the crew and the sponsors and the fans coming out to watch us every week.
Let's name the sponsors.
Thunder Alley at New Great Valley Lanes, Evanuic Racing Engines that did the job tonight, Vince's Frame Shop, Cars by Dave, my dad, boy, we really couldn't do without him. My fiance Christy, Greg, Christina, Donnie, Vince, and everybody at the shop that puts in on this truck. It makes it show every week.
Win number 7 of the year for Dave Merrow.
Today, 7 days a week. Many of them have now the Krispy Kreme donuts. They have the wraps and the MTOs and all the items. Not fast food, better food fast. 16, Gary Scott on the pole. Gary out of Harrison City. He's second in the points right now. George Pinnacle in the 97 car from Pittsburgh. 37 is Paul Urso from Glenshaw. The 31 of Matt Smith from Charleroi. 32 is Matt Panay from Pitcairn. 48, Mike Bacalon from North Versailles. 60 is Bobby Benz from Irwin. The 5 is points leader Jim Nicola from West Mifflin. 6, Tommy Benz out of White Oak. The 15 is George T. Nicola from Pittsburgh. 47 is Chris Dodds from Pittsburgh, and the 77 of Brian Stevenson out of North Versailles. 20-lap feature is underway. And right off the bat, father and son. Father and son wrecking up in turn 2. George P. Nicola and his dad, George T. Nicola. 15 of George T. Nicola in the pits, ready to restart. Your sheet's modified. 20-lap feature. And we're off again. Gary Scott from the pole into the lead. Paul Urso in the 37 starting alongside on that restart. It's Matt Smith in the 31, Matt Panay in the 32, Mike Bacalon in the 48, and Jim Nicola in the 5 quickly up into contention. Mike Bacalon in the 48 to the low side of Matt Smith's 31. Smith not giving up that spot though into turn 3. The 31 still third. Bacalon 4th, Jim Nicola 5th, and it's Bobby Benz in the 60 and Matt Panay in the 32. Bacalon again to the low side of Smith, trying to move up to 3rd is Mike, and he'll make that pass in turn 4. Jim Nicola trying to follow him in the 5 car. Bobby Benson, the 60, also trying to get by Smith, the nuclear banana. It's the Swissville Music 16 of Gary Scott. Making a sweet song right now, your leader. Paul Urso. And the Sullivan Chevrolet Sealing Specialist 37 runs right behind him in 2nd. Mike Bacalon's 48 is 3rd. Jimmy Nicola and the Bobby's Lounge Dare Transportation 5 4th. The Stands Transmission 60 of Bobby Benz is 5th. outside, trying to get a run on Paul Urso for second. Spin, 31, Matt Smith. The round up in 3 and 4, and the caution is out. All part of the Tom Clark Auto family. We've got more of those door prizes to give away, but we're going to go racing now as Gary Scott restarts this Sheets modified feature. Bacalon and Nicola, not much separating those front 4 cars. Bobby Benz is 5th, Tommy Benz 6th, Matt Benai 7th, Brian Stevenson 8th, and Chris Dodge, Georgie Nicola, and Matt Smith. Bacalon trying to turn up the heat on the 37 of Paul Urso for second. They dive into turn 2. Bacalon scored in second that time in the 48s. Jim Nicola in the 5. Now to the inside of Urso, trying to move to third. Nine laps to go. Gary Scott. Trying to win for the second time this year, and extending that lead. Mike Bacalon and Jim Nicola were pressuring Paul Urso. I thought that if they got by him at one point, they might have some for the race leader, but Gary's picking up the pace here in the Swissvale Music 16. Gary 8 points behind Jim Nicola in the point standings. Nicola is the points leader right now. Nicola runs third. If they were to finish the way they're running now, Gary would pick up 4 points, 2 points per position. 5 to go. To the 60 to the low side of Paul Urso, trying to break up into 4th. It's still Urso 4th and Benz 5th as they head down the back chute. Benz now edging ahead, and Bobby makes the pass off the 4th turn. Remaining, 2 to go. And Mike Bacalon has closed the gap, but only a lap remaining. Still Scott in front. Bacalon now right on his tail. Bacalon, though, loses a car length or 2 down the back chute. Scott really drag racing down that back straightaway. They come into turn 4. started on the pole, and he'll lead all 20 laps. Gary Scott gets the win. Mike Bacalon second. Jim Nicola third. Bobby Benz fourth. And Paul Urso is fifth. How about a nice hand, folks, for Gary Scott.
Okay, fans, we're down here with Gary Scott. And Gary, the happiest words this year when the modifieds have been when somebody from your crew comes back and says, hey, you're starting on the front row.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. Last couple weeks, oh, thank you. Last couple weeks we picked a couple bad pills. Tonight was a good night.
You know, and this division is so tough. Mike was able to kind of run you down, but I think you were kind of sitting on the car a little bit.
Yeah, last couple of laps I had Eddie spotting me, and he kind of walked away, so I just figured it was cool. So then Mike bumped me at the end there. I was like, uh-oh, we better go. So
Might have to get a new spotter.
yeah, really. Yeah, really.
Let's talk about the guys that help you out and the sponsors on the car.
Eddie and Sal. Sal's not here tonight. He's at a wedding thing. Scott, my brother Dan, good friend of my brother's Terry. Peanuts helps with the chassis. My wife Tracy. And I'd like to thank all the fans for rooting for us, and it's a good feeling. Sponsors are Swiss Phone Music Store, Ed's Auto, Advanced Automotive, Best Motors going, Bush Brothers Tire, Imperial Heights Chassis, and Germac Heating and Cooling.
Ladies and gentlemen, second win of the year for Gary Scott.
Jim Nicola in the number 5 was your Valvoline Hard Charger in the modified feature, and Jim Bryce in the 30 was the Hard Charger, the Valvoline Hard Charger in the Pro Truck feature tonight. Next up is your American Flyer 5-lap. Oh. American Flyer 5-lap feature. Uh-oh, somebody's taken off already. Look at this. Dan Jordan, the 32, is going to the back of the pack. Daniel Angelico in the 14, and Michael Lexington, the 24, and the green is out this time, and they're off. Daniel Angelico will lead into turn 1. Mike Alexic in the 24 is second. Gene Greco in the 22. Bill Oldham in the 5. Oldham third. Greco fourth. Dan Jordan is fifth. Look at this battle for second. Gene Greco trying to split those two down the back straightaway. Bill Oldham in the 5, Gene Greco in the 22. Let it all hang out. Whoa, they're down off the racetrack. Here comes Dan Jordan in the 32. Now they're 3 wide again. Meantime, Daniel Angelico. Oh, contact into 1. Look out there on the brakes hard. Jordan in the 32. Back to 5th. They'll have to try to charge again. Greco gets high in the 22, Oldham in the 5 to the inside. 2 more laps to go. Daniel Angelico out for the second time in his young racing career. In the DA Auto Auction Special. Oldham in the 5 and Greco in the 22 continue to battle, and Angelico's got 1 lap to go. Oh, Greco way up. He's running the 3/4 mile. He's running the very top of the racetrack in the 22. Sometimes the faster you go, the slower it gets. Daniel Angelicchio started up front. He stayed out of trouble. He drove a straight line, and he'll make the drive into victory lane in the American Flyers. Bill Oldham second. Greco third. It looked like the 24 and the 32 were fourth and fifth. Hand, folks, for Daniel Angelicchio.
Well, Dan, I was standing there watching that whole race with your dad, and he looked at me and he says, you know, I told him if he wins 2, I'd buy him a legacy car. It looks like you only got 1 more to go.
Yeah, pretty, I don't know what to say, but it's pretty cool. Leading the field out there, I wasn't sure when to start up there, and I thought that was me on that caution. But yeah, I guess got to get another win though to get that legacy car.
You know, your dad told me you did a lot of the work on this car, and most of it. He says I wasn't going to help him. You know, Denny Angelicchio is Dan's father here, and Denny owns Mario Goslin's Hooters Cup car and dirt cars around the area. He used to race here when this track was dirt, and said he wasn't going to help you. He was going to make sure you made that commitment first, and looks like he's going to have to put his money where his mouth is now.
Yeah, I did most of the work. I did everything except for put the roll cage in the car, and that was by Eugene Severno. They put the roll cage in for me, and I did the rest of the work.
So Mario Goslin going to have to move over yet?
No, not yet.
Let's talk about the sponsors and the guys you got to thank.
I'd like to thank Team Severno Ride and Drive, my parents for letting me do this DNA auto auction, and everybody else that came out to support me, all the fans, and everybody else.
Ladies and gentlemen, first we're here for Daniel Angelicchio.
So up next will be the Team Severno Ride and Drive Experience. We've got 2 folks who are going to take turns going for rides tonight. That would be Steve Hippie Kokenauer from Levin Furniture and Jill Motto Family. Firecracker 150 on Levin Furniture night here at MOTORDROME Speedway. Just ask that those of you along the fence here, if you could stay back so that everyone in the grandstands can have a clear view of the front straightaway. Starting shotgun on the field. In fact, this race car has never turned a competitive lap here this season at MOTORDROME. He was a late arrival tonight. In car number 90 from Irwin, that is Marty Panay. Inside of Marty, in the number 61 from Monongahela, returning to MOTORDROME in 2003, Larry Bahana. Next row on the outside, in car number 80 from Cannonsburg, Nick Duratz. To his inside, in the Blue Flame Restaurant 43 from Portview, Mike Adams. Outside of the next row, making his first start at MOTORDROME Speedway from Ridgeway up in the northwestern part of the state, this is Sean Schaefer in car 46, Sean Schaefer. And to his inside, in the Hilltune Racing Engines 51 from Clarksburg, West Virginia, John Messenger. Starting 12th tonight, he won the Bud 100. Back in June, he has won this race 3 times in the Howard Concrete Pumping 22 from Brewston Mills, West Virginia, Richard Mitchell. Inside of Richard, our current late model points leader, 4-time winner this year in the fast qualifier tonight in the Valvoline Brooks Automotive Group 25 from Dunbar, Rick Miller. In the Silver Bullet, the Coors Light 98. The couple of wins on the year, second in the point standings from Acme, Neil Brown. Inside of Neil, 2-time track champion in the Edie's Ice Cream Mojo's 31 from McKeesport, Mark Catone. Starting 8th tonight in the Howard Concrete Pumping number 96 from 84. The driver is Mark Poole. In the Kessler Lumber Centaur Incorporated #1, he was your second quick qualifier tonight. Out of white, Chuck Kessler. In the Rolling Rock 33, the familiar colors of Greensburg's John Komarinsky. Starting 5th in the Megan Ford Stone & Company, number 95, your defending track champion from Somerset, Gary Wiltrout. Starting 4th in the Pitex Incorporated Gridiron Grill, number 50, from Venetia, Doug Bakioki. And starting 3rd, his teammate making his first run this year in car number 29 from Vandergrift, Jim McGonigal. Outside the front row in the Larry Lynn Flooring and Carpeting, Stan's Transmissions Froggy FM number 60 from Delmont, Tommy Beck. And starting on the pole tonight in the Nagy Gas and Oil Hunter's Truck Sales number 5 from Connellsville, Sean Pilla.
Down here with me, we have a group of kids here, the guys from Tom Clark Chevrolet. You know what to do?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Here they come, 18 cars following the Davies Ford Mustang. It's the Tom Clark Auto Family Firecracker 150. Sean Pilla in car 5 and Tommy Beck in the 60 bring the field off the 4th turn. And we're off and racing. It's Tommy Beck from outside the 2nd row into the lead. 4-starter Doug Bakioki to 2nd, and John Komarinsky quickly moving to 3rd in car number 33. The Larry Lynn Flooring and Carpeting. Froggy FM, Stan's Transmission 60 of Tommy Beck with the early lead. John Komarinsky in the Rolling Rock 33 now challenging Doug Bakioki for 2nd. Mark Poole is 4th. Neil Brown is up to 5th. Gary Wiltrout running 6th. Keep your eyes on Richard Mitchell and Rick Miller. There to the outside of Sean Pilla and Jim McGonigal off the 4th turn. Spinning in turn 1 is the 80 car of Nick Durant's to bring out the caution. Here they come. Green is out. In front again, stays there. Komarinsky is 2nd. John didn't qualify well tonight, but he's been running better ever since in the Rolling Rock 33. Bakioki 3rd. 4th is Mark Poole, Neil Brown 5th, Wiltrout 6th, Mitchell 7th, and Rick Miller 8th. Chuck Kessler now in the 1 car to the outside of Jim McGonigal trying to move up to 9th. hit by Neil Brown. Move up to 5th. They battle side by side down the back straightaway. Will Trout and Neil Brown. Will Trout takes the car into turn 3 hard on the low side. He is now 5th. Meantime, Mark Poole and Doug Bakayoko rubbing fenders coming off of 4. Bakayoko comes across the racetrack. Neil Brown and Rick Miller on the brakes hard to avoid him. And the caution is out. That all started with Richard Mitchell now up to 5th with the misfortunes of Doug Bakayoko, Neil Brown, and Rick Miller. Bakayoko back in the pits in the 50, and he too is going to come right back out. Pace car heading to the pits. Tommy Beck takes off. The Tom Clark Auto Family Firecracker 150 is back underway. Beck with a nice lead again. Komarinsky still second. Will Trout moving up to 3rd. Will Trout to 3rd. Now Richard Mitchell in the 22 trying to pass the 96 of Mark Poole for 4th. Those powder blue Chevys battle down the back straightaway. Richard Mitchell and Mark Poole side by side for 4th. Mitchell makes the pass in turn 4. Chuck Kessler coming along for the ride as well in the 1 car. As Gary Wiltrout tries to pass John Komarinsky for 2nd. Meantime, Neil Brown and Rick Miller trying to claw their way back up into the top 10, the 98 and the 25. Side of Mike Adams, and Miller follows him. Richard Mitchell now starting to put the heat on John Komarinsky for 3rd down the back straightaway into turn 3. Mitchell trying to work the low side off of 4. He'll pass Komarinsky for 3rd. Contact between Kessler and Komarinsky, and Mark Poole goes to the outside and passes both. And here comes Marcatone in the 31. Marcatone and John Komarinsky will to will for 5th. Catone will make the pass down the back chute into 31. Tommy Beck leading, Gary Wiltrout 2nd, and Richard Mitchell 3rd. Mark Poole 4th, Marcatone 5th. Kessler 6th, Komarinsky 7th. McGonigal 8th, Sean Pilla 9th, and Rick Miller is now 10th. Brown runs 11th, Messenger 12th, Adams 13th, Schaefer 14th, Bahana 15th, Bakayoko 16th, and then the 80 of Nick Durant. So those cars still on the speedway. Rick Miller around the 5 of Sean Pilla, the 98 of Neil Brown trying to do the same. They'll make the pass in turn 3 and 4. Miller now dives to the inside of Jim McGonigal. Still back in front, Wiltrout closing in a bit. And Mitchell not far behind in 3rd. Mark Poole 4th and Marcatone 5th. Neil Brown in the Coors Light 98 passing the 29 of Jim McGonigal. Tommy Beck, your leader, Gary Wiltrout trying to close in here, and he's making up the gap between 1st and 2nd. 20 laps in, 130 to go. Started outside the front row, and he stayed there ever since. Gary Wiltrout now within striking distance. Komarinsky. Miller trying to pass Komarinsky for 7th. Right behind him comes the 98 of Neil Brown. Gary Wiltrout has moved ahead of Tommy Beck. Rick Miller up to 7th in the 25. Neil Brown trying to follow him in the 98, but Komarinsky holds on to the 8th spot. Brown to his inside into turn 3. Will make the pass. Laps complete. This will be lap 26. Gary Wiltrout, the second leader of the night. Beck second. Mitchell close in 3rd. Poole is 4th. Gazzone 5th. Kessler in 6th. Then it's Miller in 7th. Brown 8th. Komarinsky 9th. And Jim McGonigal runs 10th. Chuck Kessler to the outside of Mark Gazzone and moving up to 5th in car 1. Kessler into the top 5. Goes a lap down in car 61. Front 3 running together here as they race off of 4. Still in front, but Tommy Beck not letting him get away. Richard Mitchell right there in 3rd. Back a ways then to the 4th place car of Mark Poole. Chuck Kessler 5th, followed closely by the 6th place car of Mark Gazzone. Miller is 7th, Neil Brown 8th, in the 98, 33 Komarinsky 9th, and Doug Bakayoko in car 50, moving back into the top 10 after an earlier caution. 46 car slows down right in front of Rick Miller. Miller had to really get on the brakes. Yeah, Sean Schaefer had his arm out the window trying to wave Rick by. I think he expected him to slow down like that on the straightaway. Larry Mahan in the 61 having some problems there. Sideways over in 2. Looks like there's something amiss now in the 61 car. Mahana is slowing down and heading for the pits. More traffic ahead for the race leaders. Wiltrout, Beck, and Mitchell into turn 1 on the outside, trying to lap some more cars. Chuck Kessler and Mark Gazzone now have caught up to the 96 of Mark Poole, the 4th place car. 4 for second. Mitchell running that patented groove of his in the middle of the racetrack, trying to put a little heat on the 60 car. Tommy Beck for second. Complete. Lapping some more cars. Doug Bakioki has just moved up to 9th in car number 50, dropping the 33 of John Komarinsky to 10th. Wiltrout lapping the 29 of McGonigal. Oh, Tommy Beck's off the pace. Tommy Beck slowing down in car 60. He was running second, and he's coming to the pits. The motor sounded sick as it came down the front straightaway. Tommy Beck, the Larry Lynn Flooring and Carpeting, Stan's Transmissions, Froggy FM number 60, the first leader of the night, was running second and now pulls into the pits. Moves Richard Mitchell up to second. Mark Poole is now third, Chuck Kessler fourth, and Mark Antone in the 31 car is fifth. Now lapping the 10th place car, or the 9th place car, I should say, of John Komarinsky, leaving just 8 cars on the lead lap.
Now, no surprise here with the number 60. They got motor problems again. You can smell the oil. Sealed motor.
Joe Rolick was saying that Tommy Beck having some oil problems in the 60 car. Larry Mahana, who's been in the pits now for several laps, returns to the speedway in car 61, several laps down. Mark Poole is your third place car, the 96, followed closely by the 1 of Chuck Kessler, the 31 of Mark Antone. Third, fourth, and fifth running together here. Wiltrout ahead of Mitchell by a straightaway in first and second. Kessler now to the inside of Poole, but they got lap traffic ahead as they race into 3. Rick Miller is closing in on that trio in the 25. He runs 6th. Past the 1/3 mark, 51 laps complete. Wiltrout now lapping the 8th place car of Doug Bakioki. Neil Brown in the 98 is the last car on the lead lap. trying to pass the 96 of Mark Poole for third. Kessler in car 1. Down on the inside, passing the 96 of Mark Poole for third. Chuck was our second fast qualifier tonight. Got shuffled back a bit early in the race. He's now worked his way back up to third. Hitting is the 61 of Larry Bahana. Heads to the pits in car 29. He's already lapped. McGonigal pitting into 29. A tire change on the 29 car, McGonigal. They're changing the left front tire. Gary Wiltrow maintains that straightaway lead over Richard Mitchell. Kessler is third. Cantone has moved up to fourth into 31, leaving Mark Poole fifth and Rick Miller sixth. Neil Brown seventh. He is the last car on the lead lap, car 98. Laps down. 90 more to go. McGonigal with the tire change returns to the racetrack. Rick Miller now trying to pass Mark Poole for fifth. Miller in the 25 car trying to move into the top 5, and he does in turn 4. Gary Wiltrout on a rail so far. He has not slowed down one iota. That lead just stays consistently right around a straightaway over Richard Mitchell. And it's back a half a track to the third place car of Chuck Kessler. Mark Cantone fourth. Rick Miller fifth. Poole is sixth. Brown is seventh. Less than a straightaway ahead of the leader, Gary Wiltrout. Try to allow around the 5 of Sean Pilla. Lapping him, I believe, for a second time. Mitchell now to the low side trying to get by the 50 of Doug Bakioki, who's a lap car. Mitchell had a handful in the fourth turn that time. He back in trying to come around on the 22. Wiltrout trying to close in on the 7th place car of Neil Brown, the last car on the lead lap. We get closer and closer to halfway. has taken over third from the one of Chuck Kessler. Catone is third, Kessler is fourth, and Rick Miller fifth. Closing in on Neil Brown. Brown trying to lap the 33 of John Komarinsky. The Wiltrot now right on his tail. You can see the left rear quarter panel on Neil Brown's car flapping in the breeze. That was from that earlier incident that he and Rick Miller and Doug Bakayoko were all involved in. 73 laps, just 2 laps from halfway. Wiltrot trying the outside of Brown, now ducks to the low side in turn 4. You bet Neil's not going to get out of the way early. He wants to stay on that lead lap as long as possible. Hard to come from a lap down. Just can stay on the lead lap, got a shot. Down to the outside and back to the inside again as they head down the front straightaway. The lap car ahead, though, Sean Schaefer. They'll have to get in single file formation. And now Richard Mitchell trying to close the gap on Wiltrout. Past the halfway mark. Further and further you get up through the field, the harder it is to lap them. Halfway. Past the halfway mark now. 76 down for Wiltrout. He's got 3 lap cars between himself and Richard Mitchell. Mark Catone still third, Chuck Kessler fourth, Rick Miller fifth. Mark Poole is sixth. The 98 of Neil Brown seventh. Wiltrout to the inside of Brown down the front straightaway. Trying to lap the Silver Bullet. They're wheel to wheel through 3 and 4. Not wanting to give up the spot or go a lap down, continues to battle on the outside. And Wiltrot able to lap him. Gets around the 33 of John Komarinsky. Just 1 lap car now between first and second. Here comes third, fourth, and fifth. Mark Catone, Chuck Kessler, and Rick Miller. Right now, Mark Poole in the 96 is the last car in the lead lap. Completing lap number 84. Past the halfway mark now by almost 10 laps. Pits and now coming back out of the pits in car 61. fourth continues here. Mark Catone, Chuck Kessler, and Rick Miller right behind them in fifth. Sixth place car of Mark Poole. Right ahead of the race leader, Gary Wiltrout, with 60 laps to go. 60 laps remaining. Wiltrout trying to lap the sixth place car. To maintain that straightaway lead over Richard Mitchell. Wiltrout gets it done. Just 5 cars on the lead lap. 5 cars on the lead lap. Mitchell now trying to get by the 98 of Neil Brown, and does in turn 3. Mark Catone still third, Chuck Kessler fourth, and Rick Miller fifth. They are just a straightaway ahead of the race leader, Gary Wiltrout. Lead still a straightaway for Wiltrout. Completing lap 96, close to the century mark. His pace has been solid. Chuck Kessler now back to third. He and Mark Catone working traffic. Look at this battle, 3 wide in turn 2. Kessler to the inside. He and Catone able to clear the traffic. They run third and fourth. Miller bottled up behind them, behind 2 lap cars, in fifth at the 24. Jim McGonigal slowing down on the back straightaway in car 29. Thick traffic ahead for the race leader, Gary Wiltrout. Got him side by side in front of him as he races into turn number 1. Closing in on lap 100. Wiltrout to the outside of the 61 car, now trying to lap the 51 of John Messenger. He'll go to the top side to pass him, or try to anyway, with 50 laps to go. 50 to go. Go into the pits, and now back out of the pits in the 29 car. Now, not coming out. He's going to make a left-hand turn. Still 2 lap cars between first and second. The 6th place car of Mark Poole just 1 lap down, and the 51 of John Messenger now at least 2 down. Kessler and Catone, the closest race on the speedway right now. Chuck in the 1 is third, Mark in the 31 fourth. Rick Miller's 25 is fifth. They are trying to race for position and stay ahead of the race leader, Gary Wiltrout, less than a straightaway behind Miller. Mitchell now just a half a stretch, or a little more than a half a stretch behind Wiltrout. Appears to have closed the gap a little bit, but he's got 3 cars between himself and Gary. Pilla trying to lap him now in turn. Oh, Mitchell gets sideways up there in 1 and 2, has to gather it back up. Loses his momentum for a moment. Will lap Pilla in 3 and 4. Now trying to get by the 33 of John Komarinsky. Meantime, Wiltrout has lapped the 46 of Sean Schaefer another time, maintaining that always seem to have a car between first and second, and that lead is back to a straightaway for Gary Wiltrout. Just like a regular Friday night now, we've got 40 laps to the cash, 40 laps to the payoff. Gary Wiltrout has led the most of the way, taking the lead, I believe, lap 20 or 20-something from Tommy Beck. And he has dominated, just dominated so far here tonight. Sure, tire wear is a concern of everyone's now, especially if you have some, if you're trying to stay on the lead lap or race for position. Already put 110 laps on these tires. On a normal Friday, it's only 40. With 1 win so far this season here at Motordrome. He's your defending champion. He has 3 career wins, the first 2 coming last year. This would be the biggest win of his career as Mark Catone and Chuck Kessler continue their battle for 3rd and 4th. They're now side by side into turn 3. These two have been running together for a long, long time. They've swapped that spot back and forth. Kessler almost spinning the car up in turn 4. Caution is out. The 31, the 1 of Kessler is 4th. Miller is 5th, and the 5th place car, the 96, is Mark Poole. He is 1 lap down. Mitchell in front, Mark Catone 2nd, Chuck Kessler 3rd, and Rick Miller is 4th. Remember, Miller's got fresh tires on the back of that car, the 25. He's got fresh rubber on the rear of the car. Looks like he also brushed the wall. The right side of Miller's car, the tires are white, like he may have brushed the wall at some point on the racetrack. But it hasn't slowed him down so far as he tries to take 3rd away from Chuck Kessler. Down the back straightaway, it's still Catone 2nd, Kessler 3rd, then Doug Bakioki, who's running in 7th. Neil Brown has moved up to 5th in car 98. 30 laps to go. All right, Catone, Kessler, and Miller clear the 50 of Doug Bakioki. Catone and Kessler side by side into turn 4. Rick Miller right behind them. Those two throw up a roadblock. Kessler sideways around 1 and 2, hanging on to it. Into 3 and 4, Kessler nosing ahead of Catone for second. Catone third and Miller fourth. You can see the right side of Miller's car. The tires are definitely white. He's definitely rubbed the wall. While they're battling hard, Richard Mitchell has opened up a straightaway lead on the second car of Chuck Kessler. And now it's Miller to third. Catone is fourth. Neil Brown fifth, Mark Poole sixth, Doug Bakioki in the 50 is seventh. After that, we're not sure. Miller trying to pass Chuck Kessler, but Kessler not going to give up that bottom side. Into 3 and 4. "25 laps to go. Concrete pumping. Turnkey Foundations, Tom Clark Chevy, number 22. Richard Mitchell has won this race 3 times previous to tonight. He's got a straightaway advantage. Kessler still second, Miller third, Catone fourth, in that order in turns 1 and 2. To go, 20 to go. In turn 1, Kessler in the 1 and Miller in the 25, and Kessler goes spinning. Caution is in. Chuck Kessler pulling up alongside the 25 of Rick Miller. Straightaway. Miller in the 25 trying the outside of Chuck Kessler into turn 3. It's Mitchell in front, Catone second. Lead is growing. Miller to the inside of Kessler into turn 1. Down the back straightaway, the battle for third and fourth. Not over yet. Kessler still on the outside. Now Rick makes the pass off of turn 4. 15 laps to go. It's Richard Mitchell in front, Mark Catone second. the outside of Cachone. Into turns 1 and 2. They're side by side, and Miller now makes the pass for second. Back in the Bud 100, it was Rick Miller who led and Richard Mitchell who ran him down. Can Miller return the favor here tonight? He's only got 12 and a half laps to make up a lot of ground. And on the Howard Concrete Pumping 22. Half a straightaway lead for Mitchell. Miller's making up some ground. Chuck Kessler trying to get by the outside of Mark Cachone. And that race for third and fourth. This has been a 150 lap race. I think those two have run about 110 laps. Within a couple of feet of each other. And they're all night long. Mitchell with 30 career late model wins here at Motordrome, third on the late model win list. Trying to win the Tom Clark Firecracker 150 for the fourth time. Rick Miller making up some ground, but does he have enough laps? 8 laps to go. He has definitely turned up the wick on the Brooks Automotive Group, Valvoline 25. He's had to come from behind the entire race after that early wreck on the front straightaway. Oh, look out, Sean Schaefer, the 46, thought he was going to plow the wall there, but he gets it straightened around. Mitchell hugging the low side. He's trying to keep her smooth right now. Does not want to break that momentum. Cachone, Kessler racing for third and fourth. Brown is fifth, a lap behind him in the 98. He too was caught up in that earlier incident, early race incident. 5 laps to go. Rick Miller trying to win his 5th race of the season, and Richard Mitchell trying to make it 2 for 2 in 2003 here at Motordrome. Couple of lap cars pull to the inside of the racetrack down the back straightaway as Mitchell goes sailing by Larry Bahena. And now trying to lap the 43 of Mike Adams. Clear racetrack. 3 laps to go. Miller has turned up the pace, and I think Mitchell has done the same here in the closing 10 laps. Giving it their all. Not saving anything right now. 2 more laps. He won the first 150 in 98, won it again in 99, also won the race in 2001. He's a lap away from his 4th win in the Tom Clark Firecracker 150. Previous leaders Tommy Beck and Gary Wiltrout weren't able to go the distance. Richard Mitchell biding his time, inherited the lead, and he drives to the winner's circle again. Rick Miller 2nd, Mark Cachone 3rd, Chuck Kessler 4th, Neil Brown 5th, Mark Poole 6th, Doug Bakioki 7th. It's his 31st career late model win here at Motordrome. 3rd on the late model win list behind Charlie Cragen and Mark Cachone, and it's the fat paycheck. How about a nice hand for Richard Mitchell?
Okay, fans, we're down here with Rich Mitchell. And Rich, do you think you could have caught that 95 car?
No, and I'll tell you, congratulations to them guys, because they had the class of the field tonight. They had a real good car. Don't know what happened, but I'll tell you, they'd have had it hands down.
You know, and it's something that we talk about all the time here is sometimes you just got to have that little bit of racer's luck. I'm sure with the Brick Miller car coming on, I'm sure you were a little concerned about that. He got tied up with some of the cars in the back, and that just kind of let you run away.
Yeah, our car was good at the beginning. We had a real good car for the heat race and everything, but what happened was the car just kept getting tighter and tighter as we went, and it got looser coming up off the corner, so I just couldn't keep the car down on the bottom where I like to run. And you know, Rick was making up on that, but there just wasn't enough time, and we were at the right place at the right time.
You know, that's how you end up winning races, being at the right place at the right time. And I'm sure, you know, with all your experience you have running the longer distance races, I'm sure you're saying there, you know, instead of burning the tires up, I'm going to sit here and be patient. If we got a second place car, we got a second place car. But if something happens, we may have a first place car.
Yeah, that is the hardest thing to learn in the short tracks. If you burn up the tires too quick, then you're not going to be good for the longer haul. And usually in these races anymore, there's not that many cautions. So you got to have a car that'll last, and that's one thing that we've always worked good on and had our car to last. But for some reason tonight, the car just didn't want to work too good after about 55 laps.
Okay, Rich, let's talk about the sponsors and the guys that help you out.
Well, I got to thank Frank Howard with Howard Concrete Pumping. I got to thank Tom Clark and his whole family for helping me out. The Turnkey Foundation, Foundations. I'm sorry. My dad, my mom, all my family, Mitchell Auto Parts, which my dad owns. I keep forgetting who's all on here. Maple City Tire. I just need to thank the fans too for all their support. I notice there's getting to be less and less boos and more cheers anymore. So it's good to be here, and I'm glad that everybody's having a good time.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be ringing the bells at Brewster Mills tonight. Your winner, Richard Mitchell.